3, 2, 1. Okay guys, we're gonna go through a self-defense technique, a looping right defense, a haymaker, all right? Sometimes it's known as a overhand right, looping right, haymaker punch. This is the kind of attack that you can expect from someone that doesn't have a lot of training. Don't think that means it's weak or it's not effective in any way. Someone big and strong, swinging their whole body behind a big looping punch. If you stand in the way of that, they're gonna knock your head off, all right? So you gotta respect that. There's a lot of ways to throw to defend against a looping right. I'm gonna show you one today. You know, moving out of the way, running away, there's supposed there are options. We're gonna look at getting underneath it. So let me show you the technique first from a few different perspectives. So he's gonna come in with a big looping right, bam, right? Do not try to have him upper block that and then punch him back. That's not, imagine your opponent is bigger, stronger, meaner, smellier than you, okay? Is that possible? Oh, just kidding. Okay, so as he does a looping right, I'm gonna get underneath that, okay? Usually someone's gonna load up, again, this is, I guess, an untrained person. You got some skilled boxer out there, you're not gonna, this is different, all right? But this is someone that's like, you know, you gotta imagine someone, what'd you say, bro? What'd you say? They come in with a shove, and the big punch comes, yeah, and then that's one of the big things coming, right? So they're just gonna kind of be loading up maybe, and hopefully you can kind of imagine that kind of very sudden, violent attack. And me trying to meet force with force is generally a bad plan. So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna have my hands up already in this position. You shouldn't be here, you know, you sense that there's someone gonna try to hurt you and your hands in your pockets, your weights in your heels, you kind of deserve to get hit, all right? So you don't deserve it, but you shouldn't do that. So have your knees slightly bent. Don't stand in some sort of fancy kung fu stance or like, I'm ready to go, because that means you wanna fight. But you can certainly be here like, hey, look, my shoulders are even up. I don't have any problems, leave me alone. You know, I didn't mean to see whatever it was. You're trying to talk yourself out of it. You know, I have no problems with you. There's no need to fight about this. All of a sudden, he throws that punch anyway. Whoop, underneath, drive that uppercut into their floating ribs. You can push off. You can do a lot of things after that. We're going to look at first step, don't get hit. Second rule, you're doing the hitting. And we're going to do an amazing, powerful uppercut into their floating ribs. If they have to be punching at you with their right hand, that means you can be digging that thing right into the liver underneath the rib cage on the right side. So, yeah, back to their health. One more time from this angle, I slip underneath it, I drive, uppercut, and then from here I have this angle to the back. Of course, I can come in, I can do other attacks, I can push off, I can run away. You know, you should have a lot of ideas of what you would do after. But again, just the first part of this. So I'm gonna do this towards you for a moment. I'm gonna do it in the side view. You can see my footwork. So I'm here, right? I'm still slightly bladed. Again, I'm not in a deep stance. I'm upright. My knees are bent. I'm slightly bladed. I'm not square, but I'm also not, you know, I try to not look too suspicious, like I know what I'm doing, right? So from here, my front leg comes forward. This is counterintuitive. Most people, when the big punch comes, they want to go here, right? Instead, we're gonna go here, all right? Our front leg is gonna move forward, I'm gonna cover. And I'm not gonna let my elbow stick out. I'm gonna pretend I'm holding a piece of paper in my armpit with my elbow connected and my hand is up here. You make a fist, keep it nice and tight, okay? So I'm here, my other hand's up, I've loaded up that back leg, I'm driving off that back leg into the hip, driving diagonally. Whoa, this angle here, if you can see, that's the angle of my strike. Boom, and then again, you can circle out, push off, run away. If you did it right, they're probably going to the ground anyway, although you don't want to assume that. That might have just got their attention. There's certainly things you can come in. I'll show you a couple other ideas, right? 1, 2 with a hook to the jaw. 1, hit that again, then come over to the top to the ridge hand. You can strike, you can elbow strike. In fact, you can make the initial strike an elbow strike, right? That's all also very possible, very effective, obviously, if they're hitting at you really strong. So this is the technique. Once again, I'm moving towards the attacking opponent, my opponent, and my front foot steps forward, and I turn slightly. If you can imagine for a moment that it's like a video game, and you've got your opponent stunned, right? And there's like a little birds chirping over and there's circling his head, right? You know what I'm talking about from cartoons? Yeah. And so, and you were allowed like your fancy move at the end and you're just gonna load up your strongest punch. You might do something like this. He's you know, hear him. And then you roll through that punch. Well, that's basically what you're doing. Your defense is the ultimate load up on your attack. The defense is here. I've got all this potential energy here loaded my back leg that I'm going to transfer to my hip and I'm going to use to go right into his ribs, okay? So that's the way you should feel. You should feel so strong in your defense. So once more, I'm here, load, uppercut. At this point, you guys could be thinking, maybe I throw a knee Maybe I come with an elbow over the top. Again, maybe you just shove, you push off and, you know, reassess, all right? So facing you once more, I'm here. 1, 2. I'll often talk about this being like, you know how we have a wave will crash this way, or it'll, depending which way you're looking, crash this way. I'm like a reverse wave. I'm coming here, circling out, and driving here, right? 1. Notice my back leg comes up with me. Don't stand here and punch and this weirdly, you know, elongated stance. Make sure your back leg squeezes up as you fire that right, and then figure out what you're going to do afterwards. Now, you may not have someone throwing big looping rights at you. Shadow box this in the mirror, or with yourself. You can just be here. Imagine. You can imagine, hey, having no problems, big looping right. See that in your mind's eye, big looping right coming. You're going to want to do this anyway, right? It's okay. Let your head move back. Let your hip come forward. Let your foot come forward. Roll and uppercut, okay? So there's one defense against a looping right. Play around with that. See how you like it. Thanks a lot, guys. Go train.